How you doing?
Hey.
Good to see you.
Talk to Gemma first.
Hello. They're very quiet as usual. How have they been?
Good, they miss you.
Hi.
And well is my ex-girlfriend.
Oh.
You didn't find another dad?
Oh,
for
wow. Okay, so he's selling his ex-girlfriend's condo, and it looks like it was her idea to begin with, so there might be an ulterior motive here. You want to be very careful in real estate not to mix business and pleasure. Things can get weird. How's it going, everyone? Matt Leighton, welcome back to another real estate video. Hey guys, I'm really excited to start a new series on the channel where I take a look at popular real estate TV shows and see just how accurate those real estate shows and real estate agents actually are. Today we're gonna start off with everyone's favorite reality TV show, $1 Million Listing New York. A little bit of background on myself. I've been a full-time real estate agent for over 6 years. I've done hundreds of transactions. I've closed millions of dollars worth of real estate, so I'm very well qualified to examine a real estate TV show. I want to give a quick shout out to Leagl Eagle who inspired this format of video. So what I'll do is I'll list and link his channel in the description below, so be sure to check out his channel as well. And with that being said, let's check out $1 Million Listing New York.
My main office is in Soho, and my offshoot offices in Miami, Los Angeles,
That guy
and
looks
Hamptons are doing
familiar in the
incredibly
background.
well.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Yeah,
So at the
that's
end of last
definitely
year-
him. So the guy in the background put out a video a few years ago called $1,000 Broker, $1,000 Listing that went viral. It was a hilarious video, and what happened was Ryan Serhant, one of the stars of $1 Million Listing, saw that video and then hired him and then gave him a job. So I think it's really cool. It just goes to show you the power of social media if you're in real estate or if you're in something else. So hats off to that agent that got the job, and then hats off to Ryan for hiring that guy.
I have kids. I'm a dad. I think I can handle stress, really. I mean, well, New York City real estate for 15 years and all these crazy sellers. I can handle stress, but this is a whole different kind of level.
Okay, so I'm in real estate and I feel stressed out. And I'm single, I don't have any kids, I don't have a girlfriend, I'm stressed all the time, and I feel like I don't have a lot of free time. And if you're a real estate agent with kids, you're a superhero. I just don't know how you do it. I don't know how you manage all of the stress, all of the clients, all of the contracts. And then on the other hand, you go back home to your one kid, your two kids, your twins, as in Fredrik's case here, and handle all of that aspect as well. So it's just really incredible to see high producing agents that also operate a very healthy family relationship as well.
Let's go into the boardroom. I have some news and I wanted to have an all-team meeting.
Okay.
That's a team? Yeah, I guess I have a team now. Always been a bit of a maverick, so to speak. You know, I did things my way, so I was hesitant to build a team.
Are you ever gonna expand?
I don't want to be like a 40-person
You
team.
don't have
I
to
like
be a
to
40 person. You
you
can
know.
be a 10 person. You can be a 3 person.
So teams are starting to dominate real estate brokers and real estate agents. A lot of real estate agents are becoming real estate teams. Personally, I was a little hesitant on the team model, but now I am seeing the light. When you get to a certain point, it just makes more sense to have a team. Now, you could be a small team where it's just a sales agent and maybe a transaction coordinator. You're running around getting all the sales, and then doing all the paperwork is the transaction coordinator. Or you could have like a 50-person team where you have buyers agents, showing agents, runners, people going around putting up block boxes and signs, and then transaction coordinators, people back in the office, inside sales staff. So it's really however you want to customize your team. There's no right or wrong way to do it. There's a lot of team formats out there, and if you're a solo agent doing a lot of deals, the team model is most likely going to make a lot of sense for you.
But I'm in the city because a very dear friend of mine, who also happens to be a movie star, is looking for an apartment to buy.
Oh, that's the girl from the movies. Rebel Wilson. Yeah, of course. She's hilarious. And I know this is for TV, but working with celebrities does happen. Here in the DC area, it's a lot of professional athletes. So Washington Capitals, I've worked with a few players on the Washington Wizards. former Washington Redskins player. And, you know, you'll get the C-type executives from bigger companies and embassy officials. And I'm fully aware that embassy official and A-list actress celebrity extraordinaire in the public light are two completely different people, but you do end up working with higher end people. I'm sure there's people that walk into my open house that are in the government, Secret Service, CIA, really high up. In my market, it's mostly government and professional athletes. I would assume if you're in the New York, Miami, LA market, and you're in real estate for long enough, you're probably going to end up working with celebrities. So this is an occurrence that does happen.
So I need some discovery with her. You know, sometimes with clients, you need to really take them out and show them things, look at their faces and body language, see how they react, and then build it from there.
Yes, okay, this is great. I'm so glad that Fredrik said this because body language is everything. People will say that their price is a certain number. It could end up, their budget could end up being twice that number, or it could even be half that number and they're just completely wasting your time. So as an agent, my goal is to really understand humans just on a body language level. They don't, you know, people are just going to keep talking and talking and talking, but sometimes their talking doesn't match up congruently with their body language. So if we're touring a property and, you know, their shoulders are shrugged, their arms are crossed, you know, I may ask them, hey, you know, is there something that this one is missing, or is this one checking a lot of your boxes, or are you looking for something different, while I'm shaking my head no to tell them the answer that they're looking for. So body language is crucial. You know, there's obviously the stat out there that most human language is body language, and then you know, a certain portion is verbal. So as an agent, I'm really, really cognizant and aware of my client's body language.
Let's up the budget. Just up the budget like 10
Just
million.
to clarify, if you are over, let's say 10 million, I would love to show you. There's more negotiability in the higher range, maybe like 15 million.
That's not that big of a price jump.
Good problem to have. So upping the budget does happen, you know, upping it from 10 million to 15 million, not exactly realistic in everyday real estate agent life, but you know, you will work with a lot of clients that you've shown them a lot of places, they've gone to a lot of open houses, and the current price point that they're at, they're just not seeing the house, the inventory that they're looking for. So you might raise the budget $25,000, $50,000. The issue here is that a lot of clients, especially first-time home buyers, are going to be getting a mortgage. So it's kind of a tricky road to navigate. Sure, I personally am an agent. I would love to up the budget, but you know, it's kind of taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Sure, let's up the budget. Let's just call your lender first to confirm that we are able to up the budget.
Do you remember it used to be 3 apartments?
Yes.
So the 3 apartments that we completely demoed, we started from scratch, left everything
nice.
there, and built this apartment.
So combining condos does happen, and we're seeing it more and more often. The issue is people value the city amenities, but they just need more space. They don't want to move. They like being in city center, but they just need more space. So it could be anything from a full renovation, like we're seeing this individual do, or it could be just something where they buy the unit next door and just tear down the one wall right next to it. I've even seen someone buy the condo below them and then install a spiral staircase up to their main unit. Now, a couple issues come to mind here when you're buying the unit next to you or below you, above you. You're gonna have some issues. You're gonna have 2 kitchens, you're gonna have kind of wonky floor plans. So we wanna make sure we're not turning your units into a Frankenstein unit where the floor plans don't match up, there's no flow to the floor plan or anything like that. So obviously any sort of renovation has to be approved by the condo association, and whatever the scope of your project is, whether it's the full renovation or something minor where you're just tearing down the wall next door to you, there's probably going to be some extra work after the fact.
So I think that we should probably price it like just under 8 million, like 7,995. And you know how I work, right? So because we've worked together before.
Well, but I called you in today to see if you have any buyers for this apartment. I want to sell it by myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
Do you have your license?
I have my test
Got
at the end
it.
of the week.
Shut
Okay.
the Tribeca door.
Okay, so what this seller is trying to do is she's trying to sell it herself for $8 million. She's trying to get her real estate license to save on the seller commissions. She's never sold this before. She's never sold a property. She's never done this. Oh, but she's looked at houses before and she likes architecture. well, you know, there's no Pinterest part of the real estate exam. There's no like design elements. But we do see this happen every so often. People like houses and people have free time and people need to sell really expensive properties. So sometimes that mixes together with the seller thinking that they can sell it themselves and get their real estate license. And we do see this. The issue is you don't just go out and get your license and then sell it. You still have to hang your license at a certain brokerage. And now what Ryan is trying to do here, first of all, he's a little put off, maybe a little shocked that she's trying to do it herself, but now he's going to try to take advantage of that and recruit her to be on his team because they obviously have a good relationship. He obviously trusts her or else he wouldn't be trying to get her business. And when she signs up with his brokerage, well, then part of that commission is going to go back to Ryan and that brokerage. So it's not necessarily a for sale by owner, but if you have an $8 million property and you're trying to sell it and it's your own property and it's the first time you've ever sold a house before, you definitely want to make sure you're with a good brokerage that can definitely provide assistance along the way.
Hello. Hello. How you doing?
Hey,
Good to see you.
talk to Gemma first.
Hello. They're very quiet as usual. How have they been?
Good, they miss you.
Hi.
And well is my ex-girlfriend.
Oh.
You didn't find another dad?
Oh,
for
wow. Okay, so he's selling his ex-girlfriend's condo, and it looks like it was her idea to begin with, so there might be an ulterior motive here. You want to be very careful in real estate not to mix business and pleasure. Things can get weird.
So I think even if you just paint the ceilings white, like it will make a difference.
Can we try without painting? And if it doesn't sell it, then I paint.
I think fine. If I will try it out as is. Maybe we could get $4 million for it. You know, let's see how it goes, and I'll give you feedback.
Okay.
What happened? This is too easy.
I learned.
Look, do I think it's the right move not to paint it? No, but I know from experience it's better to show her than tell her. So if it doesn't sell, then we'll revisit down the line.
Okay, so I feel like I just had this conversation the other day. Sellers want to do this all the time. They're living in their space, they've customized it to the way they like it, and they want to simply sell it in that current condition, where most of the time when you're listing a property, you're gonna go through a checklist of 10 or 20 items of what the seller needs to do in order to prepare that property to get the most people interested in purchasing the property. Guess which item is usually number one? It's paint, for obvious reasons, because it just creates an entire ambiance inside the condo. So as an agent, you know, you're kind of walking this fine line where if you tell them all these items to do, you know, it's probably gonna sell quick, but if you're the seller and you're just burdened with all these items, that might be a huge turnoff, and they might go down the street to the next broker who will just list the property as is. So as an agent, we want the listings to sell, and we can tell the agent, but I'm so glad that that Steve is his name, that Steve said, I'd rather the market show the seller rather than tell the seller. Sometimes sellers don't listen, but it's hard to go against the market. If your property is sitting on the market, it's not selling, that's an immediate sign to the seller that it's time to change it up.
All these beautiful steel wrapped columns that my owner decided to do after he purchased.
Who is your owner anyway?
He's somebody that has a huge collection of real estate holdings here in New York City, and this is his next one that he'd like to monetize.
Okay.
So the agent doesn't want to give away the seller's name. Fredrik asked, he can easily just look that information up in the tax record. I'm not sure why this is a big deal. Sometimes in the tax record, the seller's name will be an LLC, which will make it a little bit harder to track down if you're looking for a specific individual for some reason. Or you could even go to the courthouse if you're a seller, if you're an owner, and request to have your name withheld. But either way, the seller's name is kind of irrelevant. Sometimes if I do find out the seller's name, what I'll do is Google them to see if there's any job transfers on LinkedIn, any divorces, any Twitter updates of changes in lifestyle or jobs, because everything matters. If you go on Twitter and see they have a big banner that they went to James Madison University, well, guess what I'm putting in my offer? Go Dukes. It helps to know more about the seller, but knowing their exact name when you're just touring a property, it's probably irrelevant.
What are you gonna ask?
We're going to be asking 17.5 million.
That's over 5,000 a foot. That would be a record for the building.
Yeah, we're looking to break a record here.
No, and I appreciate that, and I love to set records, but we're not negotiating yet because I haven't even
That's
brought
what
a
I
buyer.
actually want to talk to you about.
What, the price?
Not necessarily. I see myself being the next rising agent on your team, and I want you to help me sell this apartment.
But I'm not hiring.
Have you sold a penthouse in this building yet?
Oh.
No, I haven't.
Now's your chance.
Okay, so these two agents are with two separate brokerages. And what the agent is suggesting is that they both list the property at the same time. Now, 99% of the time, one agency, one brokerage has the listing. There's not a big need to have a co-broke agency, in my opinion. The reason that you would do this is if that other brokerage has a big clientele of maybe international buyers, maybe they know professional athletes, they're in that circle, or of course, in this case, celebrities. But for the most part, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And what's interesting about this exact scenario is usually it's the seller that says, hey, I want this brokerage to represent me, but I also want this brokerage to represent me. It's not usually the agent that says, hey, I want a co-broke on this one. Now, I think there's some more motives here. The agent's trying to leverage this exact listing to get on Fredrik's team. So it's kind of interesting. As an agent, you know, we don't really give up our commissions that easily. But this agent has a little bit more going on. So I guess as long as the seller is okay with it, then it would be fine. But you know, that broker is basically telling the seller that they can't do the job themselves and that they have to hire another brokerage to help them out. So a little bit of an interesting scenario. However, you know, if the seller agrees to it, if all parties are on board, if this guy gets to work with Fredrik's team, then, you know, everyone wins in this situation.
Hey, Andrea, how are you?
That's good. I was calling you to tell you how my search has been going.
Oh, good.
Well, yeah, I did go and met with a lot of the brokerage houses.
Okay.
And if you're still up for it, would you consider hanging my license with Serhant?
Yes! Oh! I have to think about it. Yes, let's do it. That's awesome.
Okay, so brokers are always looking for new agents to bring on their team. Some brokers will say that they're not hiring or they're invite only, but you better believe if a new agent has an $8 million listing and is looking for brokerages, they should be lining up at her door to get her business and to bring her on board and to support her, because brokers are always thirsty. They're always looking for new agents, and if you got an $8 million listing, you should be first in line.
$8 million Tribeca Loft listing, new awesome team member. What's up?
This wouldn't be a reaction video if I didn't talk about that big commission you see in the bottom left corner, $240,000. Now, what's interesting is they show Ryan's face. The listing agent, of course, would be the clients, the woman, the seller, the owner of the property. So Ryan wouldn't actually be getting that commission. It would be going to, let me backtrack for a second. It'd be going to the brokerage, Ryan's brokerage, and then it would be filtered down to that exact agent. So the way that breaks down is usually agents are on some sort of split, maybe 80-20, 70-30. New agents, sometimes it can be as low as 50-50. If it was on a 70-30 split, that knocks that commission down to only about $165,000. And Ryan, of course, is still making some money because that agent is on her team, and therefore he gets some of that split. And as you get better as an agent and you do more deals, your splits can get better. We don't have to dive into all the commissions right now, but as a new agent, that commission is just a little bit misleading.
I forgot one thing. So I have a really nice Range Rover, but because of the kids and I had twins,
Oh no. You never want to do this. You never want to drive around your client. There is way too much risk, way too much liability. Think about if you were driving around Rebel Wilson and something happened. Are you kidding me? Now, sometimes your client will Uber to meet you at a house, or your client will take public transportation and you drove, and then you have a couple more houses to go to. So I'm not saying like tell them to order an Uber and you hop in your car. Sometimes you will have to take clients around, but you know, as the landscape of being a real estate agent is changing and everyone's trying to add more and more value, being your client's personal chauffeur is not the way to do it. There's just way too much risk, way too much liability. Driving is the most dangerous thing we humans do on a daily basis. And myself, I try to avoid driving my clients in my own car at all costs.
I do feel like if we offer it in combination with my other unit here, then we could potentially get a premium, because you could actually go through this wall.
You would walk me back 1 second, because I'm trying to take that in.
The unit down the hall I have for $4 million. I think if we combine it with this unit, we could ask $525 for this unit on its own, $9.25 for the combination.
We talked about combining condos earlier. This one's a little bit different, where a condo's already on the market and then one right next door is about to come on. And what the broker is suggesting is to get the listing of the new one and then offer that one up for sale, but also offer it up as a combination unit. Now, we don't normally see this. Usually, you know, it's the same seller that puts both of them on at the same time. This one's a little bit different because you have two different sellers, completely different, but you have that same broker. And this is actually a really good marketing opportunity, really good marketing thing that this broker, Steve, took advantage of in this listing presentation. This is something that he can do and no other brokerage can do, because he has the listing and no one else does it. Now, the reality is that someone's probably not gonna purchase both of them at the same time. Usually when someone wants this amount of square footage, they're gonna buy a unit that's already been combined and the work's already been done. However, as we saw in this opening scene, one of the opening clips, you can just buy two and then do a full gut renovation. So there's a very slim chance, but this is a really nice strategic opportunity that the broker took advantage of to offer something else that he can provide that no other agent can provide.
These are the terms we need.
You know as well as I do, this is a buyer's market. And I have told you multiple times that storage is important.
Well, you can't just give away the storage unit.
If you don't want to meet our terms, there are actually hundreds of other units in the market right now. I'll take her somewhere else.
Why are you playing hardball, Fredrik? We're willing to accept your offer. We just need you to pay for the storage and tighten up the closing.
It's a $25,000, $30,000 item for you. This is stupid. You're gonna lose a deal over something this small? I'm not negotiating this anymore with you. If I were you, I would throw it in, and we're gonna do 60 days. That with no contingencies, cash, my friend. Come on, give it to me.
Let me put you on hold for a second, okay? Fredrik?
Yes?
You have a deal.
Yes. Okay, this was excellent negotiating by Fredrik. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. This is the part of real estate that I personally love the most, negotiating, getting the best deal for my client. And did you see how he did it? He didn't steamroll the other guy. He didn't try to overpower him. He just used empathy. He said, hey, listen, you know it's a buyer's market. He put him in Fredrik's shoes. He's like, listen, you know it's a buyer's market. We could go to hundreds of different places. We're just talking about this tiny, small, little $25,000 storage unit. And for a developer, it's really not that much money. You know, I'm not looking in that developer's books, but if you have a unit for sale for over $10 million and you're hung up on a storage unit, come on, what are we doing here? Excellent negotiation. They should take that clip and put it in the real estate licensing course and show that to all the new agents. That was really top-notch negotiating.
Okay, Rebel's gonna be very thankful. I'm very thankful. We're very happy. Thank you. Bye.
Yes! I love you, Yes!
That's just about how it feels to ratify a contract. It feels amazing. He's doing one for 10, 15 million. I feel the same way when I'm ratifying one for $200,000. Guys, it feels amazing. You're helping out your client. You got food to eat the next month, right? It's just an amazing feeling. And yeah, standing outside of an SUV with your torso above the roof, screaming while you're driving down New York City, yeah, pretty much sums up ratifying a contract.
When you're a new agent, start on a team. It doesn't matter if it's a small team, a big team, but sit in the room like a sponge and just learn because there's decades of knowledge in that room.
This was excellent advice here for new agents. As a new agent, I think the failure rate is 90% or higher for real estate agents. It's insane. It's extremely high. As a new agent, join a team. Put yourself in a room surrounded by other agents that are dominating, that are doing a lot of deals. Learn every part of the transaction. Be the transaction coordinator for a week. Be a showing agent. Be a listing agent. Follow around the team lead. Just absorb everything, because if you try to do something solo, your learning curve is going to be a lot longer because you're going to try to do everything yourself. You're not going to know the best way, and then you're going to find the best way and do it. But meanwhile, if you're on a team, they already know the best ways and the best ways to optimize things. So that would you'd kind of leapfrog that learning curve if you were already shown some of the best ways to operate your real estate business. So if you're a new agent out there, would highly recommend joining a team when you first start.
A few people on my team who've actually been with me for a really, really long time decided at around the same exact time that they wanted to leave. The press picked it up, and I haven't wanted to talk about it. I didn't make a comment, but my business has changed. As my team grows, it's hard to give my undivided attention to 62 people every day.
And you know, that's one of the downsides of joining a team, is sometimes you can get lost in the shuffle. You know, if these teams start to grow rapidly, which a lot of them are, which is fantastic, you want to make sure that your roles in the team are clearly defined. Are you the showing agent? Why are you, helping out on a listing? Are you the transaction coordinator? Why are you leaving the office to go put up a lockbox? You want to make sure that you have designed roles, because people's expectations are everything. So if you're expecting one thing and over time that slowly morphs in to something that you didn't sign up for, well, you're going to be disappointed, you're going to be upset, and then the team lead, who maybe is not as close to you as they have so much going on, they're going to wonder why your performance is slipping, because you're upset because your roles aren't defined. So make sure as you grow in a team that you completely understand your roles if you're in a big team. Okay, so that just about does it for $1 Million Listing New York. So how realistic was it? I'd say it was pretty on par with real life real estate. There were a couple extra zeros at the end of some of those sales prices, but they did a really good job of showing the back end, working with sellers, working with buyers, negotiating, getting properties ready to go on the market. I was kind of expecting something to be extremely unrealistic. They didn't have anything too wild and crazy in there, so good job, $1 Million Listing. Pretty realistic. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. I'd greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Until next time, create a productive day. Take care.